me in my Father's house and many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. That where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know.
It's about time, man, because I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get the kingdom. I'm ready to live. I'm ready to breathe fresh. I'm ready to have beautiful, pure women, okay? Not no strawberry hollows on this side. I'm ready to have children, man, you can vibe with, okay? Be around brothers. Be around the Lord himself, okay? I'm ready to go and visit places in the galaxy that we didn't know exist. All right? I'm ready to walk on sandy beaches, man, and explore the ocean floors. I'm ready to fly, okay? I'm ready to eat real food. Okay, I'm ready to drive a chariot, man. All right, I'm ready to minister to the Lord and to be ministered to, man. Okay, I'm ready to worship Yahweh Shai in its full entirety. Okay, I'm ready for it. We're ready, man. I'm ready to see angels and greet angels.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, the apostles and the elders, the ministers who will teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing and salutation to the hope of that out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Kakwadash, pushing to get up out of there. Shalom to the whole collective believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, and what I want to get into with this lesson is how judgment don't miss. Judgment is on the way, and a lot of people, they have this viewpoint, this perspective, okay, of how, there's so much wickedness that goes on in the world, how the world is corrupt, all right, the villains are on top, okay, there's judgment, that doesn't go forth, people are able to get away with wickedness, it's a very manipulative, society. It's a very cutthroat, grimy society. They look at how these big companies and corporations are able to do what they want. Certain people with money and status are able to do what they want. Wickedness, thrives. Wickedness is swept under the rug. Okay. Certain things are even celebrated. It's a society where wickedness is celebrated. You see, and you have people that look at these things and they come to the conclusion, well, there's no higher power. Why would a God allow these things to go on? All right, but people don't understand where we at pertaining to prophecy. Okay, that we're in a time where the wicked has dominion. Okay, but the Lord will only allow, the wicked to reign for a season. You see, so let's go into it and see. This is why, the understanding of this word, is like as the scriptures say, this is our rest. Because in the truth, it puts our mind at ease because now we understand these things. Okay. Matter of fact, before I go there, Okay, because our forefather Asaph, all right, he had that same, spirit. No, when you go down, when you read the book of Psalm, chapter 73, okay, the Psalm of Asaph, which he was a priest. Okay, let's go here. Psalm 73 and 3. It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their deaths, but their strength is firm." Okay, so he's speaking in the spirit, and it's like, damn, the wicked is balling. The wicked, they're in their prosperity. You see? So he says, "For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm." You know, they're able to have this generational wealth. Okay, they don't die and pass debt down. They're able to die and pass down wealth. Okay, so they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And you go into the wicked Esau Edom. This man has been able to live, for a long time. Okay, beyond the troubles of regular men, especially when you go into the elites. Okay, the super rich. The wealthy, and even the upper middle class, man. You see, now things are starting to be affected now. The middle class is through. They don't push the middle class Edomites, all right, into the bunch with Jake. And then eventually the upper middle class is going to be through. Okay, then the rich, and if you're not a part of that small circle, you have no part in what these devils are trying to bring about with their new world order. But the point is, for a long time, these devils, have been able to live in prosperity in their wickedness, man. You see, it said, "Therefore pride compassed them about as a chain, and violence covered them as a garment. They stand out with fatness. They have more than heart can wish," man. And you look at, the wealth that these Edomites have been able to accumulate, within their rulership. Okay, these people have, more wealth. There's certain these Edomites that have more wealth than certain countries. You see, and they're wicked, man. They're completely wicked. And these Edomites, certain these Edomites have more wealth than certain countries, man. You see, and when you jump down to get to the point, all right. So Asaph is looking from a viewpoint. It's like, damn, he can't figure it out. Like, damn, these niggas got it. Verse 16 said, "When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High. Then I understood their end." See, as we come into the sanctuary of the Most High, which is the understanding of His word, we come into this ministry, the church, and we begin to get understanding. Then we understand their end. We understand that we're just in the season right now. Okay, and it's the season of the wicked. But there's a judgment for everything that's going on in the earth, man. Mass judgment, all right, and judgment don't miss. You see, and mass judgment is getting ready to make its way to the earth. When you go to verse 18, "Surely thou didst set them in slippery places, thou castest them down into destruction," man. And when you see what Esau was trying to pull off, okay, you see that the Lord set Esau up from failure from the beginning. Okay, this man has been set up for failure from the beginning. You see, when he invented the airplane, all right, well, that was him preparing for the war in heaven with Yahushua. The Lord set him up to go to fulfill prophecy of the war in heaven when he gets obliterated. Okay, he invented the what? All right, the nuclear bomb. The Lord put His Spirit on him to invent the nuke, and that same weapon, which is the weapon of the Lord's indignation, okay, is going to remove him from power. It's going to play a part in removing him from power. Okay, him, being able to tap into certain technology, tapping into this AI, well, this gave the devil, this fueled his ambition to try to be the Most High, man, which is a heavy offense. Okay, so everything that the Lord has done, okay, would seem like prosperity for Esau. Ultimately, the Lord setting this man in slippery places, man, and he's going to be cast down into destruction. You see, and he's taking a lot of people with him. All right, you heathens, okay, that partook in this man's ambition, and 2/3, okay, of our people, man, are going to get caught up in that destruction with this devil. You see, and that's going to be judgment. That's the judgment that's at hand, that's on the way. Okay, and judgment don't miss. It's going to get everybody supposed to get. All right, it says, how are they brought into desolation as in a moment they are utterly consumed with terrors? Yeah, so you look at, centuries of these devils being on top, and you look at, this generation, where it seems as if wickedness pays. You look at this, society is like, well, wickedness pays. That's why people are so, it's so easy to get people to sell out. Because they look at it, well, look, this is the shortest path to wealth and prosperity is wickedness, man. You see, is the quick route, okay, to your lust is wickedness in this society, man. Your desires, okay, well, Satan, Esau, Edom has set it up to where, wickedness is the quick route, and people look at it and see people as wicked as winning. It's like there ain't no God, but that ain't the conclusion you should draw. You see, understanding gives clarity to why things like they are, because we get it. You get their mindset, but then wait. Okay, you have to understand where we at. Okay, you have to understand where we at as pertaining to prophecy. We're in the season of the wicked. See, when you understand the end game, the right now makes more sense. Okay, but when you look at things day for day, it's just random events. Okay, you see, then it can be confusion. Nah, man, we understand the end game. Okay, so when you go into Revelation 21, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, and he laid hold on the dragon. All right, this is pagan Rome, that old serpent which was ran by Esau. Which Esau comes in the spirit of the serpent, which is the devil, the deceiver, and Satan, the adversary. All these describe Esau, man. Okay, the dragon, the serpent, the devil, Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Yep. So you had this 1,000-year period when Esau wasn't able to have any influence in the earth. Okay, he was pushed out on the outskirts of civilization, man. Okay, over there in the Caucasus Mountain. That's why they're called Caucasians to this day. Okay, you have them close to Georgia, Russia, the Ukraine area that was pushed out on the outskirts, man, with no influence or power in the earth. You see, you had Jake ruling. You had Elam had they empires. The Parthians, the Scythians. Okay, you had Moab, the Mongolians. During this time you had Ishmael with his caliphates. Okay, but the dominant powers were Jake in this time. Jake was ruling. We call it the Holy Roman Empire. Constantinople. You see, Jake was ruling in Europe. All right, and Jake was even ruling in Russia. Okay, but reading on, it's the point, verse 3. It says, and cast him into a bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he should be loosed a little season. Okay, so this devil was loose for a little season, and we're in that little season. And this is why the devil is able to thrive in his wickedness, because he's in his little season. Okay, but the Lord set him up from failure from the beginning. It's a process that's playing out. Okay, so the devil has been loosed his little season, and in this little season, what will this devil? Okay, what will he do? in this little season. He would just heap up judgment to himself, man. Okay? That's why you go to let's go here to the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 12. In verse 8, it said, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. Okay, so in his little season, the wicked, will be able to come out. You see, that's why people are so comfortable, because the alphabet culture used to be in the closet. Well, now they walk in pride. They have pride parades because the vilest men are exalted. Esau, Edom. Okay, to be a criminal is that's a glorified. That's a in this society, being a criminal is glorified. That's a position of honor. Being a criminal is honorable, man. You're a wealthy criminal. Okay, you're a big drug dealer. You're a mobster. You see, you're a gang leader. These things are positions of honor in this man's society. So the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. And in this little season, the vilest men are exalted. Esau, Edom. Okay, and when you go into it, okay, the earth is being ran by criminals, man. These cities are corrupt. The government is corrupt. Law enforcement corrupt. Everything is corrupt, man. Okay, most people are in on this what you call organized crime that runs the world, especially here in America, man. You see, you go here to the book of I think it's Haggai. All right, you go to Haggai 1. Might have been Habakkuk. Yeah, let's go to Habakkuk. This book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 4. It said, therefore the law is slack. You see, and it's the righteous law. It's slack. And the slack is for who? For the wicked to thrive, man. Esau got all these loopholes for his corporations. Like I said, you got, these big dope boys and the police and the feds is helping this nigga sell dope, man. It's slack for wickedness to thrive. And judgment doth not go forth, for the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore, wrong judgment proceedeth, man. And this is the environment that we in. And see, the scriptures give clarity to these things. Now these things make sense. Okay, this is Esau in this little season where righteous judgment is slack. True judgment don't go forth. You see? Would you think Epstein went to prison? No. Absolutely not. Okay? These men are able, he's on another island somewhere, all right, doing the same thing. You see? But they give the appearance of justice. They because Esau, he's good with the optics, the appearance of a thing. Okay, but it's not what it is, man. Okay? You think Epstein was an end all be all? Nah, man, he's a small part of the global wickedness that goes on. Okay, they'll sacrifice a nigga to, Diddy, and you'll think that the righteous judgment going forth. No, man, they're just for show. Okay, to appease the masses as if there's some type of standard of righteousness. Nah, man, this place is completely wicked and corrupt, man, because the people that you see on TV every day, man, are doing the most abominable things. And the higher up you get, all right, these politicians that you vote for, Trump has done way worse than the Diddy, and he's the president. Okay, you see these senators, Lindsey Graham, these niggas have done far worse than the damn Diddy. And damn that nigga Diddy. Okay, but just to show you, all right, that this is an off society, man. But see, judgment on the way, and judgment don't miss. It said the law has become paralyzed, and there is no justice. Going back to Habakkuk 1:4, and this is in the NLT. It said the law has become paralyzed, and there is no justice in the courts. The wicked far outnumber the righteous, so that judgment has become perverted, man. And this is the environment that we in. And that's why, as we have this understanding, we know to move in wisdom. We don't expect a fair shake or fair deal in this society, man. It's not going to be fair because of the rulers, man. Okay, this place is biased towards wickedness. You see? But judgment is at hand. You see, judgment is on the way. Judgment's going to clear all this up, man. When judgment hit, it's going to clear up everything, man. Okay? And I want to play this quick, short from the brother channel. All right, the brother Yaqua GM, The Hopeful Elect 3. The brother channel, The Hopeful Elect 3. Let's where is it? Yeah, let's play this.
So I was having this conversation with my homeboy the other day, and he told me, he said he don't believe in karma. Like, he's starting to not believe in it. I said, why? Why you think that? Why you say that? Because me, I believe in karma. I know karma is real. So I said, why you say that, bro? He said, you really think that karma was real, that all these people that are doing these terrible things, these are in office? You know what I'm saying? They got all this power, all this money. If karma was real, they wouldn't have it. I said, bro, listen, bro. Karma goes past life. This life that we living in, karma goes past it. You feel me? They gonna get their karma. Now, will they get it in this lifetime? Who knows? The devil might let them get everything they want and live the easiest life. But let me tell you something, twin. When judgment day get here, and everybody gonna have one, when it's time for their judgment day, that's when that karma gonna kick in. I'm gonna tell you right now, shit go past life, you feel me? Don't worry about these folks that's doing these evil things, that's in power, and that's got all this money. Cause let me tell you, there's gonna come a time where none of that shit matter. None of that shit help you what you got going on Judgment Day, twin. Straight up.
Yeah, he was on point. Because and we in their lifetime now. Well, the Lord's finna call in all debts. You see, the Most High is finna call in all debts, and judgment finna go forth. You see, and going into it, because like he said, he made the point. You look at these people and their status, and it looks like, well, they're beyond judgment. Well, no, it's a time. It's all in the Lord's time. Okay, wealth and prosperity doesn't mean that you're beyond judgment. It just means judgment ain't hit yet. That's all it means. It means judgment ain't hit yet, but it's on the way. Okay, there's a global judgment that's on the way. All right, and that's why. Matter of fact, let's get this first. There's a book of Sirach. Let's get that first. And then we'll jump back into it. So when you go to the book of Sirach, chapter 16, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 16, and verse 11. It says, and if there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is a marvel if he escape unpunished. For mercy and wrath are with him. He is mighty to forgive and to pour out displeasure. So if it be one stiff-neck, okay, it's a marvel he go unpunished. One person. To show that judgment ain't gonna miss. Okay? The Lord gonna judge every man. Women and children included. That's why you go into the scripture where it says slay utterly young, old, men, maids, children. You see? Judgment gonna hit everything it's supposed to hit, and its own D way. Okay, see, the Lord is gonna turn up the knob. All right, and let's say he's finna call in all debts. Okay, and if you're indebted, okay, guess what? Judgment finna go forth. You see? So when we go here, just like Asaph, he said it pained him to think about the prosperity of the wicked until he went into the sanctuary of the Lord, which is the understanding of these scriptures, man. You see, when you go here, this is the book of Psalms. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 37. All right, and 7, it says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. And see, this is our rest, man. You see, we don't have to scratch our heads and wonder why judgment ain't going forth. Why these people, get to do this wickedness and have everything, and prosper, man. Why is that? We don't have to sit, and meditate on it. Nah, man. We can rest in these prophecies, man, because now we got understanding. Now our spirit is in rest. Okay. And it says because of him who prospered in his way, because of the man who bringeth forth wicked devices to pass, man. And you look at all this wickedness that he's able to do. He's able to poison the air, poison the food. He did the juice. Here this man, he did a pandemic and caused people to take a death potion and still gets to skip around the earth. He poisons people daily and gets to skip around the earth and talk about what he finna do next. He gets to destroy the earth and then jump on camera and talk about how he gonna fix the earth, man. It's like, damn. You see, but it tells us to fret not, which is not to get, overly frustrated. Okay, anxiety about this devil. No, rest in the Lord. The Lord got this nigga, man. It says, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Okay, in any wise to do evil. Yeah, so we don't have to try to come up, with a coup, try to overthrow Esau and try to take things into our own matters, and try to fight the system within the system. Nah, man, we just have to preach this word, and the Lord, all right, is loading up that judgment, man. And as we preaching, that judgment is just loading up. Okay, it says, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those who wait upon the Lord shall inherit the earth, man. Yeah, so there's a reward for righteousness, man. See, in this society, ain't no reward for righteousness. So we stop looking for rewards and righteousness from this society, from this age. No, the Lord is going to reward righteousness, man. You see, people get disappointed when they think that, their deeds are going to be rewarded, the so-called good deeds are going to be rewarded here. Nah, man. You join the police force to actually fight crime, and then you see how corrupt it is. It's like, well, damn. You become a social worker or whatever to really help people, but then you see how corrupt it is. It's like, well, goddamn. You see, well, we know ain't no reward, okay, for righteousness in this society under Esau, man. That's why this devil finna be cut off. Okay, the whole nation is going to be cut off. Those who wait upon the Lord, the elect of Israel that's waiting on our power, okay, to come and fulfill, the promises and the prophecies, man. We're getting ready to inherit the earth. Verse 10, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yeah, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. So one day this man is going to be empowered, controlling everything, okay? And the next minute, he's going to be removed from power. Like, what a difference a day makes. He that is a king today shall die tomorrow. Okay, so this authority that he has as a king is going to die. The Lord's going to put that to death, and he's going to go into captivity, and eventually he's going to be physically rooted out the earth, man. And his place right now is the top place. He's the top authority in the earth. Esau. But there's going to come a time, man, where this man is not going to have any authority in the earth. You know, in the kingdom, if you were to, you know, comb through all the positions of authority in the kingdom, you're not going to find an Edomite. You know, even amongst the heathen after 1,000 years, they're going to have that set up under us. You know, their leaders who's going to have to report and check in to us. Okay? But you could after 1,000 years, you could, you know, comb through the earth and try to find the Edomite in authority. You're not going to find it. His place is not going to be. Okay? He's going to be exterminated out of the earth, man. So you look at this prosperity Esau has now. Okay? It's not going to be worth being exterminated permanently. You see, you think about it, you know. You think about it, you know, billionaires and trillionaires for this little short season to be eventually exterminated out the earth. That's not a good payoff. Okay? Like a nigga rob a bank, you know, get $500,000, you know, ball for 2 months, but then go to prison 30 years, man. That's a short lived. And Esau has been hundreds of years, okay, and he's done a lot of wickedness, man. Okay, but to go into captivity 1,000 years and then be exterminated, that nigga not winning. You see, when you look at it from that perspective, the bigger picture of Yahweh Shem Al Shah, you look at this nigga, it's like, no, this nigga not winning. Okay, let's go here to let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 8. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11, it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. And that's why you have such a do as thou wilt spirit in the earth, because judgment doesn't go forth immediately in every situation. You know, sometimes judgment does happen, you know, swiftly, but it's not, you know, it's not the majority. Majority of the time, people are, okay, allowed to do wickedness. And like I say, in this system, it's set up for you to do wickedness and thrive. Okay, and people look at that and they develop this do as thou wilt mentality. You know, once people there see that there's no judgment for a particular behavior, you know, you develop that herd mentality, that crowd mentality, man. You know, the crowd psychology. You know, and you have a society that thrives off evil, that thrives off wickedness, man. You see, verse 12 said, though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days are prolonged, yet surely I know it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him. You know, because, you know, serving the Lord, you don't get the perks of this society serving the Lord. You see, you don't get to indulge and prosper in this society serving Yahweh Shem Al Shah. But that's a sacrifice we're making right now, you know, to have true prosperity forever. It's going to be well with them that fear the Lord. See, we're going to have true prosperity and righteousness, man. You see? And it's going to be everlasting. Right now, all you can get is a temporary, you know, like I said with Moses. You know, he would rather suffer with his people than enjoy the pleasures of Egypt for a season. And see, we're going to have a season of prosperity that doesn't end. So righteousness pays off. Right now, wickedness, you get a quick turnaround in wickedness. Okay? You can be wicked, you know, you can make a deal with the devil. Okay, you can push, you know, madness and evil, and you can prosper. You know, he can put you in the algorithm to make you a star, celebrity, to put the machine behind you. Okay. See, wickedness has a quick turnaround and it's attractive to the masses, man. You see? But we playing the long game. You know, we'll suffer now and serve the Lord and we ain't on the back end forever. Okay? And it says, verse 13, it says, but it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not the Most High, man. Okay? So Esau, which is the progenitor of the wickedness in the earth, you know, who has established do as thou wilt. Okay? Mentality in the earth. Well, guess what? This devil, his days are not going to be prolonged. He's going to be cut off as a nation. You see? And then it's going to be like, well, damn. Okay? Then judgment, you see, judgment is on the way. Okay? And see, looking at the bigger picture and understanding the scriptures puts our spirit at rest, man, to where we understand that he is, and his plan is working exactly how he wants it to work, man. So that's the point, you know, just wanted to tap in to that, you know, Lord will. All right, you brothers and you few sisters edified once again, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation, hope, and shalom.